Speed Gaming fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, we have a treat for you tonight. Elite 8 action. My name's Will Cleosis. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Vercetti. Mr. Vercetti, how are you?
I am fantastic. I am absolutely pumped about this. I am pleased to be in the booth with the one, the only, the legendary Will Cleosis on commentary. Tonight, fantastic match here between Edgeworth and TristalMTG. We have the best of three here in the Elite 8. This is game one. Will, these two players do have a history together, that is for sure. You want to tell us about that?
These two players do, definitely. They met in the 2017 tournament. At the end of the tournament, TristalMTG was able to beat Edgeworth there. Edgeworth moved on. That was his first loss. He moved on to the losers bracket. It was a double elimination tournament. Edgeworth fell to X-Ice Blue in the losers bracket. X-Ice Blue moved on to face TristalMTG in the championship. TristalMTG, the defending champion, looking to defend his title. Continue on. Try to win game one here tonight of the best of three. Back against Edgeworth yet again. Edgeworth ended up taking third in the inaugural tournament. Tristal won it, again, looking to defend his title. Great show tonight. Two great players. Going to be a great clinic. Elite 8 flags, Mr. Vercetti. 2 forced party members tonight. Is that 2 black mages that I see?
Oh, yes, sir, it sure is. I'm very curious to see what we're going to get as far as black magic-wise. That could be a good way to start, or that could be a difficult way to start. I cannot wait to see what happens.
I can't wait either. Tracking tonight, Rumblefish82 coming in, taking care of that. Our Restreamer Cyclone GU here on Speed Gaming on this wonderful evening here in mid-July. It is the 2018 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. We're down to the Elite 8. Mr. Vercetti was talking about it. Best of 3, 2 forced party members. This is game one. Mr. Vercetti, how important is game one to you if you were playing a best of 3?
Oh my, that's a good question. I always try to play my best, but it's kind of almost a way to maybe it's a way for these two opponents to kind of feel each other out, to see what the strategies might be as far as the second and third game possibly.
This is the Red Dragon bracket. A murderer's row of brackets. It included Edge Figaro and included Fuchsia Fantasy. The 2 that have emerged out of the Red Dragon bracket are Edgeworth and TristalMTG. The winner will move on to the Final 4. The Final 4 of the 2018 Spring Tournament. It's going to be the winner of this best of 3 bracket. We're going to get it going in just a second here with game 1 right here on Speed Gaming. Mr. Vercetti, Will Cleosis is excited to be here.
Absolutely. Here we go. We're getting started.
White Magic Exit is in the 3rd slot. Lightning 2 for a damage spell. Not exactly what we want to see, Mr. Vercetti, but at least we got an AoE damage.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good way to start. Lightning's not the best, but it's better than nothing.
Both players tonight have the same party selection, choosing a fighter and a white mage. Harm 4 in the 2nd slot. Tristal is redoing his party right now. Edgeworth is redoing his party. Okay, gold bracelets are for sale in Canaria. You always want to take a note of that. 10,000 gold bracelets in Canaria.
Absolutely. Looks like we got Edgeworth heading up to the Temple of Fiends with his 1 cabin. We're going to see what we have in here. We're going to the first chest, lower left here. Ooh, Ruby!
We didn't even get to it yet, Mr. Vercetti. 4 loose items out in chests. We've already found one. It's the Ruby. It's been found in the first chest of the game here in the Temple of Fiends.
Not the best thing I'd want to see, but might need it, maybe.
Both players now traversing the Temple of Fiends. A couple of players stunned for Tristal, but he gets out of it. He's headed toward to pick up his Ruby. Edgeworth resets. He's gonna... Or did he... Did he reset?
I didn't see it. Tristal's got his Ruby, though.
Stinger from the spider's gonna cause trouble now. Edgeworth struggling a little bit here. His fighter is paralyzed. He's got 3 poisoned light warriors. Tristal is hurting now. His fighter's down on one knee, and he's already lost a black mage.
Yeah, not good to see Stinger this early. Just some much needed cash out of those chests.
About 6,500 gold. Edgeworth resets out. He sees its gold, resets out. He's going to go right after Garland. Garland has Blizzard. Garland is destroying Edgeworth. Edgeworth has to reset again.
No.
Tristal has to reset again.
First wipe of the game. Oh, man.
Tristal's back at Canaria. He's hitting the road now. Wow.
I have not seen a Garland with Blizzard in a little bit, and down he goes. Down he goes on Edgeworth.
Action.
Down he goes.
Action. Edgeworth has taken out Garland. He's picked up the floater from the king. Oh, it's the canoe from Princess Sarah. They got both keys.
Oh, man, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Wow.
We would have called this back in the Swiss rounds a Yet Seed. Better known as a Jet Seed, potentially. The herb is for sale. It is our vendor item. It's for sale for 9,000 gold here in the Canaria item shop.
Wow. We're seeing a lot of items early right now. Especially that floater in the canoe. Will, what do you do? What do you do if you're in the position of these gentlemen right here? What do you do?
You got to get that airship immediately, as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Camping gear. I would get back to the Temple of Fiends and get that money as soon as I can. Get as much camping gear as possible, and make a direct beeline to what I like to call changing the status quo. And get the Starship Air Gazer and get in the air and get on my way. It looks like that's what Edgeworth is doing right now. You can see him using a cabin. I can only imagine, Mr. Brissetti, with the forced 2 black mages, that black magic is going to be of absolute paramount importance. So far, not too good with only Lightning 2.
Well, fortunately here, we've only seen, that's only the level 1. There's quite a few more to go, so, I'm wondering if we got Edgeworth and Tristal thinking they want to find that early nuke, maybe that early fade even for the white mage,
That's right, oh boy. The Wolves have AoE sleep. It's put in Tristal's entire Light Warrior party asleep now. Do they have anything behind sleep? We don't know. Tristal trying to get away now. Tristal gets away. Edgeworth using his cabins. Edgeworth does not have the ruby. He did not pick up that money, to my knowledge, as well. We do have the ruby on the tracker, but he went ahead and reset out of there. We're going to double check if Tristal has it or not, but Tristal has to reset now. Resetti, look at this.
Wow. Sleep and Blizzard and Stinger. Man.
It's like... TristalMTG does have the ruby. He was able to get that out of the Temple of Fiends. Edgeworth has moved up to level 4 now, closing in on Elfland. I wonder, oh man. I bet he's getting it. I bet he wants to see nuke or something good, just start wiping these enemies out. Remember, 2 black mages now. So 2 shots up, and Edgeworth is going right there to level 3 black magic, lightning 3, warp and temper. Satisfied, Brissetti, if you see that?
Ice 2, did you say?
Lightning 3, temper, and warp. Are you satisfied if you see that in at least level 3 black magic?
Yeah. It's better than, it's better than the junk spells.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And that temper's gonna help out for that, fighter in the night eventually.
The fighter is down now for Tristal, trying to make his way to Elfland. Gets paralyzed by ambushing Asps now. Asps with Stinger now. Poison TristalMTG, but he gets off a Lightning 2. Gonna take out these 2 Asps after a second Lightning 2. Edgeworth, meanwhile, making a beeline for the Ryukon Desert. He's doing exactly what we talked about, Brissetti. He wants to get that airship.
Yep. That's the play right now. We got the early floater, we got the early canoe. I can't see any reason to not go and get it right now. Because, once you're airborne, that's going to open up quite a few free chests, right away.
Tristal gets wiped by ogres and creeps. He's got to reset again. He's right by the dwarf cave. Now he runs into unrunnable arachnids. add them to the list of people, of these enemies giving Tristal such a hard time.
Wow. Yeah. And you know, Edgeworth he skated right through there, no trouble at all.
Lightning 2 again from Edgeworth. He's able to take down a Pede. He's got it like this. Level 6 across the board, except for the past fighter now. Edgeworth using his floater. Remember, he does not have the ruby. Edgeworth is in the air at the 7.5-minute mark, heads directly to Crescent Lake.
Yep.
Tristal still battling, just trying to get to Elfland. A couple of Lightning 2s is not enough to take down a pack of 2 ogres. He's going to try again. Oh, Tristal's struggling, Versetti.
Oh, he is. Oh.
Takes down the 2 ogres now. Level 4 across the board for Tristal. I don't think he's got cabins. I think that might be the problem.
I think so.
Edgeworth went through the level 6 magic so fast I didn't quite see much. It looks like Fast was in the second slot of black magic.
Cloud Pure, and Wall and the white. We've got Sleep Fast, Sleep 2, and I couldn't catch the last one. So Fast is a good thing to know. Let's see what the old gentlemen have here. Ooh, the
incentivized item from the Circle of Sages has yielded the chime for Edgeworth now. Tristal has made it to Elfland. He finds Ice 3, Quadex, and Brack. Level 4 black magic. Edgeworth goes directly to Provoca to take out the pirates using that Lightning 2. He's going to get an incentivized item here, and level 2 magic, all important level 2 magic.
Let's see what the pirates have, if any. Oh, no, we're not even going to get a chance to see it, I don't believe. Down go the pirates.
Down go the pirates, and Edgeworth picks up the TNT now. Tents are for sale for 62 gold in Provoca. Tristal just outside of Crescent Lake. 3 light warriors clinging to HP, trying to take out a pack of snakes and scorpions. He's struggling now. He's down to the white mage, trying to get away. Yeah, he's got to reset.
Boy, what a difference between the two. I don't even know what happened. Edgeworth skated through all of that, no problem, but poor Tristal, man, he's just getting stopped left and right here.
Not much to write home about here. Level 2 white magic, really nothing. A rub, heal, but nothing that you're looking for. Bane available. Level 2 black magic. I can tell you this, Mr. Versetti. Bucleosis loves his Bane.
Yes, sir, you sure do, and I bet you anything we don't see some Bane strats.
Edgeworth jumps over the 3 free chests in Matoya's Cave, gets a good 6,000 gold. Tristal has headed directly north to the Cardia Islands now, digs out the Excalibur. Tristal will continue his tour of the Cardia Islands. Edgeworth returning to the Temple of Fiends, gonna get his ruby, and right around 6,500 gold. Now, if you had this money here, Mr. Versetti, do you go purchase the herb, or do you get magic spells?
You know, I would go and most likely get the, I would get the herb taken care of. Because then that, you know, leads you to getting the key, hopefully. And then that way you can check those few free chests. I know it's at least 10. You know, the 6 in Corneria, and then you can do the 4 down in the Elfland Castle.
Level 5 white magic in Melmond included a 3rd slot life 2 and nuke.
Ooh, did you see that? Fire 1, 2, 3, and nuke.
Nuke is in the 4th slot. It is not in the 3rd slot.
I know, I've just never seen it in that order before. That's crazy.
Edgeworth trying to feed the Titan now, feeding the Titan's addiction to rubies. Fantasy points for anyone that has Edgeworth now. Plus 4 chests.
Let's see what we got in here. Edgeworth reset out and gave the Wanted to just feed him again, I guess. Money, money. Well, let's see what Sarda has here. Ooh, Oxy Ale.
Edgeworth has made his way to the Cardia Islands now. He's going to do the same raid that Tristal did. Players reversing what it was that each other did. Tristal taking on the Pirates, looking to pick up his TNT. Both players with the Excalibur now. They can't equip it quite yet, because they have not class changed.
Yeah, we have not seen sign of the tail yet, I don't believe.
No sign of the tail quite yet. 3 loose items still out there. We have located 1 incentivized item that is out in the world. It is the Ruby. It was the first chest in the Temple of Fiends. 3 more still out there. Edgeworth continues his plundering of the Cardia Islands. TristalMTG headed now towards Crescent Lake, checking the armor shop. Finds the Pro Ring. Want to make a note of that. 16k for a Pro Ring in Crescent Lake. Tristal making his way to the Circle of Sages now for the free item. He picks up his chime. Edgeworth is back in his airship after his plundering of Cardia Islands. He's headed back south. I can only think he's headed to Elfland, looking to maybe pick up some level 3 and 4 magic spells.
That seems like that would be a good plan.
TristalMTG heads over to Sarda, picks up his Oxyale now. Utilizes the exit. He's gonna go TristalMTG's headed to the Titan's Trove now with that Ruby in hand. More fantasy points for players here. TristalMTG feeds the Titan. He's not gonna find much in the 4 chest, but the Titan has been fed.
Yeah, that's 3 times in this match so far.
Oh, the Dragon Armor's in there. The Dragon Armor was in the Titan's Trove. Did Edge get that? Or did he warp and exit out of there and not reset? I'm not sure.
He exited out.
Okay.
Maybe? I don't know.
Tristal now with over 30,000 gold does his shopping. He likes to do this early. We're right around the 15-minute mark. He's getting his camping equipment. Tristal buys the herb. He's the first person to purchase the herb. He gets some houses, pures, softs, cabins. Edgeworth now doing some shopping.
Well, you know, they've got the money right now. They're going to need that herb. Going to need the houses. Going to need that camping gear to get to where they need to go.
Where are you going now, Mr. Vassetti? We doing dungeons sort of stuff here? Do we jump in the volcano, ice cave? You got warp exit. What are you doing if you're one of our players tonight?
I think I'm going to do what Tristal's doing. I'm going to grab that herb. I'm going to take it over to the prince. And I'm going to see what he's going to give us. And it's the bottle.
The bottle. Picked up for Tristal.
So if you go looking for something good from the herb and you get the bottle, are you happy?
You know, if it was routed correctly, Mr. Vassetti, and I was able to get, you know, turn that in and get the spells at the same time, and I didn't have to make like a separate trip out of my way for it, I'd be satisfied. As far as happy, I don't think so, because if I had this party makeup in this scenario against either of these types of caliber of opponents, I would want that tail immediately. So happy, no. Satisfied, okay.
Well, you know, they've got the airship. I do like what you're saying about being able to route it correctly to where you can get those spells. Unfortunately, the players don't have that type of money, so I kind of like what Edgeworth is doing here. Gonna go hit the volcano a little bit.
Is he looking to get a fight?
Yeah, and see what's in that armory. You know, statistically speaking, there's going to be something hopefully in there.
Notice what Edgeworth is doing here. Edgeworth just burned off 5 encounters. 5 encounters at the beginning of the encounter table Edgeworth burned off. Let's watch Edgeworth in this volcano now and see how long of a walk he gets to check these chests and raid this armory.
5's quite a bit to burn off, especially if it's real heavy on the battles at the beginning of it.
Encounter manipulation from Edgeworth. TristalMTG has made his way to Gaia. I can only think that he's going to turn in that bottle. He's doing what I think you might do, you said, Mr. Vassetti. You would turn this bottle in now?
Yeah, I would. I would to see. So, for, keeping fingers crossed for that tail.
A katana has been picked up from Edgeworth in the Volcano Armory. Can't equip it, can't use it, but you can sell it.
Sure can. Yep, no thieves this time. A lot of money, though.
Power Gauntlet has been located.
Yes.
From the volcano. When you play this game, Mr. Vassetti, as Tristal turns in the bottle, picks up the loot now, how important is the Power Gauntlet to you? Top 3 items? Top 5? How up there is it to you?
It kind of depends on the party, but in a case like this, I would say that's going to be top 3, because between having a strong knight and having a bunch of nuke spells, I think that's going to be the key to winning this.
TristalMTG, after picking up his loot in Gaia, goes back down south now, heads to the Dwarf Cave, turns into TNT, and it's a bust.
Yep.
He picks up the bridge. Notice this move here from Tristal. He saved outside the airship, saw it was the bridge, says, okay, I don't need that. Resets out of here. Veteran move here from TristalMTG to get out of there. He heads directly to the volcano now.
Absolutely. Bridge is completely unneeded at this point, especially with the early floater and early canoe. It's irrelevant, just like the ship most likely will be as well.
Yeah. You kind of always want to hope that maybe the bridge is located as one of those 4 loose items, and you almost never find it, so you don't have to deal with it, and perhaps that gives you an advantage. But it's really hard to try to, not only get that advantage, but to potentially utilize it is certainly not easy.
Absolutely.
Take a look at Tristal's HP on his warriors. 60 HP on the fighter, 55 on the white mage. Doesn't care. Diving into the Gurgu volcano. Down goes 1 warrior.
Oh man, that fighter is stoned right now.
Fighter's back up now. Unrunnable mucks for Tristal. Do you even try this fight, or do you reset? You gonna try to lightning to him, Vassetti? What do you think?
Ugh, gross. I hate mugs.
Tristal trying to continuing to try to fight the mucks here. The mucks have stoned the white mage. He gets off a lightning 2 and takes them out. They do not run a muck of Tristal. Level 6 and 7 for Tristal now.
Yeah, other than having that stoned white mage, but it looks like Tristal absolutely made what I like to think is a good safety move, and that's grabbing those softs right away, because you never know who's going to have them.
Right, that was back when he had that, 30,000+ gold. He got a bunch of cabins. It looks like he picked up some softs at that time. TristalMTG is the defending champion. Anything short of certainly winning this tournament's got to be, probably a disappointment to the gentleman, and that would certainly be understandable. And he shows you in that move right there why he can have so much success so consistently in this game. Tristal picks up his katana and his power gauntlet. Sun Sword has been located now for Edgeworth, equipable by the fighter.
And that Sun Sword was in the volcano too, right?
Yes.
Wow, man, they're finding Dragon Sword, Katana, Sun Sword, and the Power Gauntlet in the volcano? Wow.
Tristal gets away from the pack of peds. He lost, it looks like, the white mage. Gonna try to get out of here. Lost his access to exit. I thought he had warp, but he might have used all the charges for lightning too. He's gonna try to run this out of here, Mr. Vassetti. Oh no! One step before the Oh no!
Oh.
4-peed encounter and they ambush Tristal 1 step away from getting out of the volcano. The peeds are attacking him again. Oh, but his fighter gets away and Tristal gets out.
Oh, lucky. Oh.
Wow.
Fortune hath smiled upon thee today.
Wow.
I gotta be honest with you, Will. I thought that was gonna be another reset right there.
That's what happened to me in the play-in race. Both these players were in the play-in race. Edge took, I believe it was 6th somewhere in there to qualify here. Tristal had already beaten that, but he played the play-in race anyway because he's a player. I had a great lead in that play-in race, and I did exactly what Tristal just did. I, of course, did not get out. And an hour or so later, I was doing gosh knows what. But Tristal gets out of there, makes it happen. And Edgeworth, with his money now out of the volcano, looks like he picks up the herb. He can turn that in. Tristal heads north. He's going to Castle Ordeals.
Yeah, well, you know what? The Ice Cave and Ordeals are incentivized. So there's going to be something there.
We haven't seen anything too dangerous. Wolves with sleep, unrunnable arachnids. We haven't.
Garland with Blizzard, I think, is about the worst we've seen so far.
That's true, definitely. Gold bracelets being bought by Edgeworth now.
Wow, 10K. That's 20%. They're paying 20% of the vanilla price for that. Wow, absolutely good choice on his part to put everybody with those. And
do you like that play, Mr. Vassetti? Because I certainly do.
Yes, sir. Anytime you can find gold bracelets that cheap, you better believe it. Absolutely.
Edgeworth has obviously bought his herb, gold bracelets all at the same time, does that in one trip, heads directly back to Elfland Castle, turns in his herb, he's going to pick up his bottle. Meanwhile, TristalMTG traversing Castle Ordeals, now a pack of 7 gargoyles, red gargoyles. I don't like these guys.
Ooh, mute. That's oh, he ran away good.
More red gargoyles for TristalMTG now.
Hey, that's 2 in a row now.
More mutes, slowing Tristal down now. Ooh, red gargoyle is starting to hammer Tristal physically with melee attacks. Edgeworth a little bit more equipped now into the volcano. He's going to try to take down this pack of 4-peeds. This is a really, really good experience-rich fight if Edgeworth can take him out. Edgeworth starting to fire Fade now at the peeds. Takes him down.
Level 11, it looks like, on Edgeworth's side. So he's getting his levels up there. We got 8, I'm probably about 8 and 7 for Tristal, so...
Tristal has maneuvered his way. He is on the final floor now of Castle Ordeals. He's on the trap tile of the Nightmares. Edgeworth has exited the volcano, taking the experience, diving back in. He's going to go deep into the Gurgu volcano now.
He is, and Tristal has just found one of the mysteries that is a house in a chest. Go figure out that one.
Certainly a mystery. Well, we have a quick moment here. We'd like to remind you that coming up in about an hour and a half, right here, Speed Gaming Prime, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's Game 2. Fuzzy Mage, Arson Horse. On the call, the Buzzsaw, Minucci 85, the Enforcer, Falconic FF, comes up right after this. We're going to hand it off to them. Game 2, Arson Horse took the first one in a great match. Arson Horse looking to move on to the Final Four.
Oh, some big money in the volcano. Just got 14K out of that chest.
Did Castle Ordeals give the canal? Oh. Castle Ordeals not required. I missed a couple of the chests. It didn't seem that anything groundbreaking was in there.
No.
So
just the lame canal.
Castle Ordeals overall looks like a complete bust. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier, Mr. Vassetti. Can you not go to Castle Ordeals and get away with it? In this case, Edgeworth could do that and skip a whole thing and pick up the Opal bracelet in the volcano at the same time.
Wow, I gotta tell you, Will, it's been... I don't think I've seen a race that has had this many items in the volcano. I mean, it's just gorging with good stuff right now.
Edgeworth gets blasted by an Agama. Starts firing off Ice 3s. Takes out an Agama level 12 for a couple of his Light Warriors. Now he's going to heal up after walking through all that lava. Meanwhile, TristalMTG fighting a couple of Hydras with the annoying Stingers. His entire Light Warrior party is poisoned now.
Is he still on his way back from Ordeals?
Looks like Tristal headed a little bit west. Edgeworth picks up the Opal armor. Now add that to the riches out of the volcano.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Looks like Tristal's headed to the waterfall, I believe.
It looks like Tristal may be trying to find the tail.
Could be. A lot of different things that could be in here. Could be the adamant. Could be the cube. The crystal. The tail. The rod. A lot of different things that could lead to the tail, or could be the tail obviously itself. Tristal should be able to make fairly quick work of this, giving his spell charges. He'll want to save certainly at least one warp or exit charge. Perhaps maybe even one of each on maybe 2 characters should something happen in the trap tile.
Well, remind me again, where did we find the loot?
The loot was from the fairy, after we turned in the bottle from buying the herb.
That's right.
Mud Gulls now for Tristal, starting to rock Tristal. 2 poisoned warriors. A couple warriors on their knees, but Tristal gets away from it now. He's going to heal up. Edgeworth has cleared the Gurgu volcano now, on his way to the Fiend of Fire. Carry.
Let's see what she's got. Let's see. Gets right away from that last battle right before carry. That's good.
Mudgull slowing down Tristal, poisoning him, taking away his HP, but he gets away again. Meanwhile, Edgeworth carry right off the bat. Mr. Rossetti fires Blizzard into Edgeworth.
Ooh. It's twice we've seen that one now.
Edgeworth gets off a fade for 168 into the Fiend of Fire. Continues to try to
not a real good
the fighter.
roll.
Fade again from Edgeworth for 308. Down goes carry.
Ooh. Too easy. Too easy. He's got it. And that's going to be our first orblet, a little shy of 30 minutes.
First orblet by Edgeworth. It is the Fire Orb. Tristal closing in now on the robot in the waterfall and its 6 chests. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, Mr. Rossetti. The Fiend of Fire was casting Blizzard. That's kind of cold.
Heartless, even?
Heartless, yes, of course.
Cold.
Mummies
Where's
have
the
some...
pun police? Where's the pun police?
Mummies have some
sort
sort
here?
of
I don't think he is.
spell list here. They've got a skill list as well. There. Oh, see, there it is. Lightning 2 from the Mummies now. We're going to see them in an ice cave. That's where Edgeworth just went to. We're going to see them again in Mirage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like their first skill is Dark, and perhaps their first spell is Lightning 2. That could be our first potential bottleneck, Mr. Pizzetti.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ooh, robot with the cube. Wait a minute. That's the vanilla cube.
Robot always handing out cubes, apparently. TristalMTG picks up the cube. Now he's checking the 6 chests. Does pick up a pro ring. He's got to be pretty happy about that.
Absolutely. Game Boy F9, thank you. I didn't know that Edge had already ran into the Fun Police and he beat him.
Red Dragon Fun Police. TristalMTG, a big part of that with the Dragon Warrior community. Game Boy F9 joining us tonight. The purveyor of so many different things, including my favorite, other than Final Fantasy. It is Rad Racer Randomizer. Game Boy, maybe you can put up a link if that interests anybody. You can certainly go ahead and check out that link.
Now, Rad Racer Randomizer?
Yeah, isn't it awesome?
What? You gotta send me that link, dude. I gotta play some of that. Man.
I'm sure Game Boy is on it right now. Edgeworth, meanwhile, traverses the ice cave, uses the warp trick, picks up an ice shield, 2,000 gold, and the crown. And there it is, Speed Gaming fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, Game Boy F9, Rad Racer Randomizer link there. Check it out. It is awesome.
Wow. Well, looks like our two players have quite a bit of items. We're about 30 minutes in. Will, do you mind if I do just a quick item recap here?
Item recap coming up from Mr. Vassetti. Take it away.
Very first chest in the lower left-hand corner of Temple of Fiends had the ruby. King had the floater. Sarah had the canoe. The Conaria item in the item shop was the herb. The sages had the chime. Vicky had the TNT. Excalibur was in the Cardia Isle. Sarda had the Oxyale. Pro rings were 16,000 at Crescent Lake. The Titan's Trove had the dragon armor. The Prince had the bottle. The Volcano had the dragon sword, the katana. The Sun Sword, the Opal Armor, the Power Gauntlet. Narek had the bridge. Ordeals had the canal. Fairy had the loot. Robot had the Vanilla Cube. And the Ice Cave so far has had the crown.
We've been busy. I mean,
gentlemen,
really busy.
Collecting their butts off.
4 loose items out in chests. Mr. Vassetti started off with it in the recap.
Sighting.
Take it.
Had a ribbon and ribbon in the ice cave. Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. I do believe that's our first ribbon sighting.
I believe so. That is our first ribbon located by Edgeworth in the Ice Cave. Remember,
Aegis Shield as well.
Aegis Shield. Remember, 4 loose items. We've only found 1 so far. It came early. Mr. Vassetti just talked about it. It was the ruby. It led to the dragon armor. 3 more loose items still out there in the world somewhere.
I think Edge is about ready to head out of the ice cave. We've seen what's been incentivized in there. And, do you think Edgeworth is going to go turn in that crown to that lovely old man in the Northwest Castle? Who wouldn't hurt a fly?
Oh, the king with the pet bats who lost his crown?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Why not? He is also kind of in the area. I think he could probably definitely rub that in.
Yeah, he's a wonderful old dude over there, you know. What can we say about him? He's just too nice.
He just can be a little demanding from time to time, demanding his crown back, but we got it. We're going to go ahead. Edgeworth probably bring it back to him.
Absolutely. And I do think Wandering Keeper, you're absolutely right. The fighter is definitely looking at all that gear, and he's definitely salivating. He's ready to wear it. What this lovely old guy has up here. Let's see. Ooh, that's what they want. He from Astos. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't he supposed to be a nice old man?
Is that the Dark Elf Astos?
I believe so. He must be related to the Dark Elf from Final Fantasy IV in some way.
The Mystic Key has been located for Edgeworth now, one of the keys to the end of the game. Tristal has the loot. Edgeworth has access to the loot given the bottle. He has not routed that in yet. He's going to utilize that Mystic Key, check some Mystic Key chests. Meanwhile, TristalMTG diving deeper now into the Gurgu volcano. He's going to find some riches in there. Opal armor. What else was in there? The whole opal bracelets in here. Whole bunch of stuff. Edgeworth heads to Canaria Castle now. 6 locked chests in here. Couple of silver helmets. Couple of bucks.
Yeah, a lot of money in there. And yes, Future Sight, you're absolutely right. It is related to the Dark Elf that they did own by that Spoony Bard.
A stick. Edgeworth finds not much. A silver hat, a couple bucks, and a stick.
I bet Edgeworth is ready for that tail right about now. He's got some good gear for that night. And the Edgeworth is going to go head back into the Temple of Fiends, going to go hit the key-lock chest in there.
3 key-lock chests here. Blaze and Glare from the Gargoyles.
Wow.
Just annoying Edgeworth now. He gets through it and gets past it. Their Gargoyles come in packs of 7-ish in the Earth Cave. Could be a potential problem later.
We've already seen he had the 2 in a row right at the very beginning that were just awful.
If you want to know why and how someone the caliber of Edgeworth, the premier caliber of this player, got 3rd place last year and is in the Elite 8 already, he's about to do it right now. Notice he's entering the Dwarf Cave. He's going to use the Mystic Key and check the key-lock chests. He's going to do something else that he's routed in here. He's going to turn in the
I do believe so.
It's moves like this, subtle moves by Edgeworth here that saves time, little bits here and there, routing decisions, just great decisions and great gameplay, what makes Edgeworth such a champion in this game. Obviously, TNT didn't work out here, but great move from Edgeworth.
Well, and he just, you know, it's so much easier to hit it once than it is to go in and double dip. And anytime you can prevent double dipping, you're ahead of whatever personal best time you have. You know what I mean?
Edgeworth picking up a spell. Level 5. It's called N-U-K-E, Nuke. He can't wait to start firing that at some of these enemies. He's gonna find not much in the armor shop, though.
Not really. But boy, that sure was a lot of money in that Dwarf Cave. Holy moly.
Tristal headed toward the Fun Police now. deep on the carry floor of the Gurgu Volcano. Quad X is no good against the Red Giant.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Will, with Quad X, don't you have to have 300 or less?
Yeah, Quad X will essentially erase an enemy that has, you know, less than 300 HP, but there are some monsters out there that resist it. The Nightmares, for an example. Chaos also certainly resists the instant death Quad X spell. It was actually originally named in the original game overseas, Kill. K-I-L-L was the original name. It was renamed, brought over here in the States to Quad X, and it can be a very, very effective spell. Minochi85, if you ever watch any of his games, his utilization of the Quad X spell is pristine. Very well done to whittle down an enemy and take them out. Meanwhile, Edgeworth makes his way to Gaia, turns in his bottle. He's got his loot now. He's got the loot and the Mystic Key.
So let's see, what do we need? We need the rod, we need the tail, and we're going to need the cube. And other than that, I believe they pretty much have everything they need right now.
Yep, TristalMTG does have the cube. He was able to dig that out from the fall, but also involved in that mix, don't forget, fans, the crystal, the adamant, the tail is also out there. The slab could potentially turn into something, translating the slab, getting over to the Fane. A lot of different ways this could go. Now, Edgeworth making a play here for Castle Ordeals. He can't know this, he doesn't know this. Burning off the encounters. Castle Ordeals is a bust. We're going to say Edgeworth gets in here at the 41-minute mark. We're going to time that and see how much time this costs Edge.
Yep. And down goes Terry on Tristal's side, so now we've got 2 orbs lit right about the 41-minute mark. And I'm afraid that Edgeworth is going to be, what's the word, a bit disappointed by his find here in Ordeals.
Disappointed might be a good word for it, Mr. Vassetti. Now, we just went through the key items, Mr. Vassetti. Like I said, there's 3 more items still out there. I have a question. Weapons. What do you think? What are you thinking at this point? We're nearing 45 minutes. You've got a katana that you're going to sell. Are you concerned at all?
Good question. depending on when we find the tail,
Mhm.
that I think would make me more nervous, because the farther we go and we don't find the tail, that's definitely limiting the places that it can be.
Right.
Because that fighter's gonna go from being less than to being awfully greater than as soon as he finds that tail.
Access to nuke now for Edgeworth, already utilizing against the red gargoyles. As Mr. Versetti just said, the tail is probably the key here for the weapons category, as both players found the very accessible Excalibur over in the Canary Islands. That's equipable, but the tail could be, you know, one of those loose items located, oh no, buried in Marsh Cave or something, and you're not going to see that. That's what concerns me a little bit as far as endgame weapons. I feel a little bit better with the Power Gauntlet, but other than that, I mean, I'm a little nervous, I guess you could say.
Absolutely, and we were 42 minutes in before you mentioned Marsh Cave, so I hope we don't have to go there.
The Sun Sword obviously is equipped right now by the fighter. Kind of a little bit maligned. There's a little bit of debate about the Sun Sword. Is it an endgame weapon? Maybe. With the Power Gauntlet, I would certainly think that makes it quite viable, but do you really want to do that would be the question. Or do you have to do that would maybe answer it.
Kind of depends on what you find. If you find the Mazmune, I think you're better off, because that does have some pretty good base stats. I believe that sword has the best base stats in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Mazmune is it's pretty good. Pretty good endgame weapon, very versatile. Definitely the best weapon for a white mage and a white wizard, for sure.
Absolutely, but I think you said the correct word is that it's versatile.
Yes.
Because anybody can use it.
Yes.
At any time.
Equipable by anyone at any time for melee attack. Edgeworth, we're right at the 44-minute mark. He entered Castle Ordeals about 41. We're going to call it about 2.5 to 3 minutes in the Castle Ordeals trip. Not bad for a trip that you made that ended up being 0 that your opponent also made, I would think.
Exactly. Looks like we're going to have our first dip into Mirage here. Let's see what we're going to find.
Tristal starting to navigate using Harm 4 and those more spells that he's got now through the Ice Cave. Looking to pick up his crown.
I'm always a big fan of Harm 4. Always a big fan.
Edgeworth dives in the first floor Mirage Tower, does half the check, doesn't like what he sees, immediately resets. Gonna try to check the other half of the first floor Mirage Tower now.
147 gold? Ew.
Once again, we'd like to thank you, Final Fantasy and Speed Gaming fans, for bringing us into your home this wonderful summer evening. Rumblefish taking care of all the tracking, keeping us up to date. Certainly both our players here in the Elite 8. Cyclone GU taking care of all the restream, getting this all up and running. Mr. Versetti joining myself, Will Cleosis, here for our maiden voyage together in the booth. I can't tell you how happy it is to be with you tonight, or certainly if you're watching some other time. Thank you for having us, and thank you for bringing us into your homes.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And I gotta say, let me ask you this. This is kind of a question I like to kind of throw out there. Who do you think's gonna in the lead right now? Do we have a lead?
Well, equipment-wise, I certainly don't see an equipment lead other than a ribbon for Edgeworth. They're going to the same places, just in different orders. So as far as progression lead, there is the cube for Tristal. There's the Mystic Key for Edgeworth. Now, given that Tristal's about to pick up the crown, and the crown will yield the key, and that Edgeworth is about to pick up the cube, once again, we're going to crisscross and be back right where we started. I have no clear leader. I have no clear advantage, even at all. I think we're 50-50 right now, Mr. Versetti.
I would have to agree as Tristal picks up his first ribbon.
There's the ribbon find. Tristal's going to pick up his crown very soon. This could come down to, you know, maybe you're in the floating fortress, Mr. Versetti, and something happens where, I don't know, rock gulls ambush you and they like to use a spell and it's called nuke or something like that. Something devastating could happen. that could turn this tide? Because I don't think either player is going to make a mistake.
You know, I think this may be one of those matches that, so far, you're absolutely right that they are basically within step of each other. I think this may come down to execution. Who, like we saw in the early game, Will, Edge was able to get right past, you know, the Northwest Castle into Elfland, no problem. But Tristal, on the other hand, he had a bit of an issue getting there. Had a couple wipes and resets, so...
Are you
and we
saying
haven't
he
really
had...
seen anything like that since then. So I'm thinking it's going to come down to pure execution.
Execution. I like that. Routing's so strong from both players that you can't see much of a difference. The early game that you talked about, Mr. Versetti, with TristalMTG, would you say that Tristal had, getting to Elfland, would you say he had more problems getting there than a math book?
Yes, I would have to absolutely agree with that.
Okay. Edgeworth picks up his cube, raids the waterfall, burning off encounters. Look at this, little subtle moves here. New players, even people that have played the game. Look at this, 5 encounters Edgeworth is going to burn off. He's known this since about 10 minutes into the game. Now he's going to dive into Sea Shrine. Which way you going, Mr. Versetti? Are you going towards Kraken? Or are you headed to the Rainbow Poogle's ladies?
Oh, you know, that's a good question. I'm always a big fan of taking down Kraken, but you never know what's going to be with the ladies. You never know what they're going to be bogarting this evening. I mean, could be the rod. Could be the tail.
Matter of fact, could be the tail. Could be the adamant. It could be, you know, a lot of different things. 3 chests still out there, fans. We're nearing the 50-minute mark. TristalMTG has picked up his crown. He's going to take out the eye a little bit. He wants some levels. No sign of the tail quite yet. He wants to secure himself, make himself feel a little bit more comfortable. Edgeworth is choosing to head towards the Fiend of Water, Kraken. He's gone left. I would go to the mermaids, Mr. Versetti, and I want to tell you why. 3 items still out there in chests. I want that information. I want to get a couple fights, a little bit more experience along the way. Because on my way to Kraken, I always just get ambushed by lobsters, and they have Masmoons. And they just blast me. And so a couple extra levels.
More like all the lobsters. I think they're driving Mack trucks.
Credit to Demarine for the lobsters with Masmoons. All credit to her who came out with that.
Absolutely.
But I would certainly like a little bit more HP, maybe a couple more spell charges to go just to get to Kraken, because I just know I get ambushed. We've seen unrunnable trolls and lobsters, and I think that you're essentially going to have to go to mermaids no matter what. Matter of fact, I'm going to predict it. The adamant is being held by the ladies.
I'm going to say the tail. Let's just throw it out there. Just take random, something completely random. You know, but I got to say that I do like to play to, you know, the mermaids, because you can walk around in that whole room and not encounter one single battle. So, you know, I kind of think about that too. It's like, well, you can get in there and get them all quick. Maybe you save before you go in and hit the mermaids first. That way, if they have junk, you know, maybe you exit out.
Notice Edgeworth right here. Watch his white mage. If he survives this fight, watch his white mage. If this doesn't get through, white mage uses the stick. Edgeworth did this on purpose. He's using the item of the stick in battle because he can't run because he doesn't want to run away. He wants to take what he considers an experience-richer fight in the 2 gray sharks. So he avoids wasting any more time, uses the stick in battle. Veteran move here from Edgeworth. Subtle move. Both rolled into one here. That's how you can win at this game. Speed it up just a little bit more.
No, you're absolutely right. In a case like that, I always prefer to have like a Zeus gauntlet, or you know what I mean? Mage staff. But if you don't, then using that item, because you don't want to take the chance of him running, because the running is fixed in this. It's not like it was in the original.
Right.
You know, in the original, it's complete RNG. Now it's not.
Our dev team, Meridian BC, Nits, Trope, and Troper Zero, Tartapan. Our dev team is awesome, Mr. Versetti. They're the best.
Yes, sir. They have taken my childhood dream game and have made it even more amazing than I ever could have imagined.
We'd like to thank you as well, Game Boy F9. If you're still out there and you can hear us, we know how much work that you do and you put in. It's absolutely an honor to play your games. Meanwhile, Tristal has turned in his crown. He found out that that king was really the Dark Elf. And he's got his Mystic Key. He's doing the tour now of the Keylock chess that Edgeworth did a little bit earlier.
And again, I think I want to take it back to what you said earlier after what you said about what I said. About is that we're not seeing really any high fives, but we are seeing a lot of the same moves done at different times in the run. So I don't really want to say that gains or loses them any time. It's just at a different time. If that makes any sense.
Yep, exactly.
Because they both got to go there.
Oh yeah. Edgeworth digs a pro ring on his way to Kraken. Now he's on what we like to call the Thank You Trenton GL Sharknado floor, nearing the Sharknado room now.
Down goes all those stupid sags.
Edgeworth elects to take the upper left trap tile to check this one chest. It's 2 gray sharks. He passed. Oh, here we go, Mr. Vassetti. We got something.
Wow. Okay. So I wonder if he kind of was thinking about that before he even headed down there. Now we got the slab.
Yeah. So the slab is our second item, second loose item that's loose. We don't know quite yet if the slab is required. Translating the slab could turn into the tail, which wouldn't be required, but I would think sought after. Could be the ship. Could be the rod. Could be the adamant. Could be a lot of different things. So we don't know that quite yet. But it's a progression item, an important item. Second of 4 have been found now by Edgeworth. TristalMTG trying to land his airship. He's headed that way now, toward the Sea Shrine.
So do you think, Will, do you think Edgeworth is going to try to get Kraken while he's down here?
Well, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to take out what we like to call the Experience Pinata. The Big Eye and the Gray Shark fight. Good experience here. Absolutely. You have 2 black mages. You have access to Bane. Brack was a little bit later. You have the Sun Sword. You have the Power Gauntlet. Fade is available on the White Mage. He'll save those charges. He will definitely go after Kraken here and look to take him down more than likely fairly easily, given his situation. Level 17-ish, I think he's around as well.
And it looks like we got Tristal. Looks like he might be going to see the mermaids.
Tristal opts to go the opposite way, looks like.
Well, I really like to see what they're going to have, because I think Edgeworth knows from playing enough of these matches that he's going to have to go dip down there again.
Oh, yeah. There's no question in my mind. Edgeworth's going to look to take out Kraken, light his second orb, then jump back into the mermaids. Certainly think. Speaking of Kraken, Edgeworth...
No, I was just going to ask you, I wanted to throw something your way. Do you think it's a viable option to hit the mermaids and then hoof it down to Kraken? That way you're only dipping once? Is that something you might do?
Nope. I would go ahead and hit the mermaids, take the experience fight, burn off all spell charges I possibly could, taking out the ghosts, whatever unrunnables might be there, exit out, save up at the inn, and jump back in again. 7 hits for Kraken now.
Wow.
Into the fighter.
Yeah. You know, I like to call Kraken, I call her Kraken Honda. She must be related to E Honda.
E Honda.
Because there's so many hits that, you know, she gets. And one of these days I'm going to figure out Photoshop and I'm going to make my own Kraken Honda.
A barrage of Fade and nukes makes quick work of Kraken. Edgeworth has finished off his second orb now. It's the Water Orb. As we thought, he's headed directly back in to go ahead and visit the Mermaid floor. Meanwhile, TristalMTG already on his way to the Mermaids now.
Here we go. We're in the room. Let's see what we got. Money, heal, flame shield. That's not... What do you take, Will, if you have a choice? Ice shield or flame shield? Which is your preferred?
If we had access to either the ice or the flame armor, I would take the opposite one. If I absolutely had to pick, it would be the ice shield, and I had to equip it based upon late game Inferno. that could come out of Fiends with perhaps no access to ribbons. I would use the Ice Shield.
Yeah, and alternating them is pretty good too. That way you have them both covered.
Yes.
Ooh, you know, nothing. I'm not seeing anything down at the ladies yet.
Not much here. I can only think I didn't. There we go. We were right. Adamant and mermaids. Ah, I was right.
You called it. You called it. You called that bad boy. So that's the okay. So that's going to be the slab and the adamant down in the Sea Shrine today.
There it is. TristalMTG raids the mermaids. Now he's going back. He's going back a floor now. He's going to check out the TFC room. A couple more chests in here. You want to get the mermaids out of the way, get that information. I would think that he's going to full clear this as well. 3 of the 4 items in chests have been located. I do not believe, Mr. Rossetti, correct me, Rumblefish, our tracker tonight, I don't think we've seen the ship. Chat, have we seen the ship?
I don't believe so.
That ship, we talked about this earlier, could be the 4th incentive item that's buried in a chest somewhere. It's very possible that TristalMTG and if he goes and gets a slab, which I think he will, and Edgeworth, who's about to pick up his adamant, are in a potential go mode situation here if the rod gets yielded from turning in the slab or the adamant.
We're within 1 or 2 items of having go mode right now.
Definitely very close. What we are also within is about 1 minute of the hour mark here.
Yeah, and I think we've found many items. We just need the tail, the rod, and I believe that's it.
The crystal is also out there somewhere. I can only imagine that translating the slab and turning it in yields perhaps the rod, or perhaps the crystal, and the crystal yields either the rod or the tail, and then whichever one it doesn't yield would be out loose in the world. If it's the rod, we're doing some digging. If it's the tail, you got options. I believe that's the way it looks like it's going to work out here.
Yeah, and we're almost an hour in. And you know what? I'm going to say that Edge has a slight lead because he does have 2 orbs lit.
Okay.
But that's the only lead. Other than that, they're pretty much identical.
Would you call it necessarily... Because I think there's a big difference, Mr. Rossetti, in lead versus advantage. Do you think it's a lead or do you think it's an advantage?
I'm going to say I think it's an advantage at the moment.
Yeah.
We both know that things can change at a moment's notice. There could be potentially many a gatekeeper still. So I think maybe a slight advantage at this moment.
Yes. Okay. Edgeworth now burning off the 5 encounters for the run. He's going to jump in his airship. He's going to head directly south to Melmon. He's going to translate his slab. Then he's going to hop over the pond, go to the dwarf cave, turn in his adamant. We'll see what it is the adamant yields, and what the translation of the slab potentially yields in over in Lefane. Or he could do Earth Cave. I wouldn't think that he's going to do that without the rod, but looks like he is headed to Melmon. Meanwhile, Tristal looking to light his 2nd orb now, headed towards Kraken.
So I hate to bring this up, Will, but I think I need to throw it out there.
Go ahead.
Is anybody thinking Marsh yet? Are they thinking Marsh at all?
I don't think so. That wouldn't even be on my mind whatsoever. It would be translating the slab, turning in the adamant, getting to Lefane and finding that rod, and assessing that information there. Oh, there's the... Okay.
Yep, speak to the devil.
Well...
The blacksmith,
you're watching, Mr. Rossetti? You know what time it is.
I think it's about... Yep.
So, I would certainly think that turning in the slab in the Lefane would yield the crystal, and the crystal would yield the tail. Could be the ship. It's either the tail or the ship. The other one would be loose out in the world, I believe, is what we figured it out to be. Welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer.
No kidding. I think Edge is really hoping that he's going to find the tail down here, because if he has to go, if it's the ship, what do you do? What do you do at that point? You got to think of what options are left. There's no more incentivized locations. So that means that it has to be in a random chest somewhere then.
There's the crystal, as we predicted.
Mm-hmm.
So Matoya will hold either a ship or a tail. Here's the question right now, Mr. Bracetti. You're in the area here of Mirage Tower and the floating fortress. You want to equip that Excalibur. Do you take the gamble in Matoya's and hope it's the tail, or do you go to Mirage Tower?
I would go to Matoya in hopes for the tail.
That's what I would do too. That's what Edgeworth is doing.
The fighter's getting tired of salivating at all his equipment. I think he wants to use it like now. So I think that may be.
Edgeworth agrees with Mr. Bracetti. Here we go. Turning in the crystal. Is it the tail?
Ding, 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 ding. I'd buy that for $1. There we go. So Matoya was hiding the tail all this time. What a sneaky lady.
Our fourth item located loose in the world is the ship. Edgeworth has this information. He takes the tail directly to Bahamut. He's going to class change. He's going to get a chance to use his Excalibur now.
Oh yeah, he's going to put on all that stuff, and he's going to say bye-bye ship.
Age
of Go mode now, Will.
Go mode it is. Now, Mr. Bracetti, now that we have this information, we talked just a few minutes ago about a potential advantage for Edgeworth. I think we might have moved into a lead scenario now.
With the finding of that tail, that's going to put him... He's rocking and rolling. Tristal, he's a little bit behind him. He's not... this race is obviously far from over.
Oh yeah.
I do agree that Edge right now, with having the tail, he's got a knight. He's going to have a buffed up knight. I think he's going to go look for spells. Maybe he's going to hit Mirage.
Mirage Tower.
I think he wants to...
TristalMTG hits the unrunnable pack of lobsters. Will they show up again in the unrunnable and Temple of Fiends you're visited? We'll get to that in just a little bit. Tristal looking to light his second orb now. Edgeworth enters the Mirage Tower. He's got all the information he needs. He's class changed. Dragon Armor, Aegis Shield, Excalibur, the legendary Excalibur, Power Gauntlet. He's got nukes, fades. One question though. It's only got one ribbon. Is that enough?
You always want to hope so, but sometimes you want to vie in the name of safety and check a few chests along the way.
Still making his way through the Sea Shrine now. Looking to light his second orb. In about a similar situation as Edgeworth was. He's hovering around level 20 now, at the 1 hour, 5 minute mark. Edgeworth took out Kraken right around level 17. We have not seen any type of nuke from any enemies. Damage, poison, nothing too crazy. Mummies were lightning too, but we haven't seen that quite yet. We're over an hour in. Could there be something hiding somewhere? Do rock gulls have nuke in the floating fortress?
Well, that's kind of a scary thought.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They always want to hope not, but on one hand, I kind of hope so. I want to see what strategies these gentlemen are going to employ when faced with the scenario of that caliber,
Zardia in chat, one of our leaders here, Final Fantasy Randomizer in the community, the absolute leader of Team Game Changer, the Team Vorpal, noting Wall. The Wall spell is available as well. Meanwhile, Tristal taking on Kraken. His white mage has been devastated down to 92 HP. Tristal attacking Kraken now with nuke. Nuke, everything he's got. Kraken attacks the fighter, it's no good. Nuke for 113. Tristal continues firing nukes. 266, down goes Kraken. Steps away now. TristalMTG looking to light his second orb. Yes, we do believe that Wall was level 6, available in Kraken Lake. Edgeworth gets an ice sword. Not much. Starting to get through here. He's goal moding it, huh? Mm-hmm. Edgeworth going through the teleporter shuffle maze. Coming up soon as difficulty starts to increase even more in the 2018 spring randomizer, now into the summer Final Fantasy randomizer tournament. Those pillars, the teleporters will be shuffled. Not so easy coming up real soon. Edgeworth looking to take game 1, get a step closer to that.
Yep. Crystal just got his rod, by the way, so he's going to be in go mode as well.
Tilo joining us in chat. Yes, best of 3. It is game 1. Edgeworth with a lead now. He's hit the bridge of destiny. Look at the chat already popping up. They're calling for plus RNGs. What are they looking for, Mr. Versetti?
The almighty war mech.
The big tin can war mech. I know Edge is a fan of fights with war mech. I can only think that given his position in this game, he would like that and take it on. Meanwhile, right behind him now, Tristal has entered the Mirage Tower.
Will, did Tristal beat Kraken? I believe he did, right?
Yes, Tristal has taken out Kraken, fired a couple nukes. Tristal does have his second orb lit.
Good. So now we're both of them have 2 orbs lit. They're both. You know, I do believe Tristal's going to be on his way to. Do you think Tristal's going to get the tail? I mean, now that I think about it,
more than likely, I would think. I think Tristal just wants to get this done and over with. He'll probably look to stop by and drop everything off on his way out of here towards the last dungeon, which will be the Earth Cave for both players. Edgeworth continues his run on the Bridge of Destiny now. No sight of Warmack yet.
None yet.
We'd like to remind you now, as Tristal takes on a pack of vampires, about 45 minutes from now, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here, Speed Gaming Prime. We ain't leaving you tonight. Elite 8 action continues. The Buzzsaw Minochi 85, the Enforcer Falconic FF bring you Game 2. Fuzzy Mage versus Arson Horse. Arson Horse looking to take down Fuzzy Mage to try to move on and be the first qualifier for the Final 4 right here tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Speed Gaming. Edgeworth just
looks like the slimes have slow.
They're slowing him down, that's for sure. More slimes. Air elementals starting to attack Edgeworth now, just really slowing him down here. But he makes it. He's through the Bridge of Destiny. Edgeworth takes on Tiamat now. Take it, Mr. City. Go get him.
See what happens. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Ooh, we got a fade. Oh, 92. Oh, gross. 146. What's up with all these low rolls? Oh man. Round 1 good. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I'm glad that they were able to. I'm almost glad that there was 2 forced black mages this time.
Nuke, and more nuke from Edgeworth. Takes out the Fiend of the Air. That's 3 orbs now for Edgeworth. Mazmoon. The Mazmoon has been located in the greater than less than room. Edge skipped this.
Oh. Yeah, he did.
Okay. Now, we've established Edgeworth with a lead. Gear difference. The versatile Mazmoon. Add a pro cape to the riches out of here. I would think, with the Dragon Armor and the Aegis Shield, how can you not try to find the tail with the quick, the quick fetch quest to promote, Mr. City? You gotta try, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the way to go. I mean, I really think that Edge really took the quote-unquote lead, you know, when he did find that tail, because now his knight's got all that good stuff on, you know, with having the power gauntlet, with having all the spells and stuff, and I think Edgeworth is going to be ready to go, you know what I mean?
So right now, Mr. Versity, I'm looking at a lead for Edge, a slight equipment advantage for TristalMTG now. 1 ribbon apiece, the Mazmoon for Tristal.
You know, I mean, is the Mazmoon going to be the game changer this time?
Potentially. I mean, when the real game changer isn't available, you got to try to find some sort of adequate-ish replacement if it's not available.
You know what?
Mazmoon's not bad.
Power Gauntlet.
Power Gauntlet.
I think that's the adequate replacement. Because I remember there was a race a few weeks ago between the 2 racers, and basically it came down to the Power Gauntlet.
I can't imagine who had that Power Gauntlet and took the victory, Mr. Versity. He was probably a good man.
I think so.
Tristal now starting to blow through the floating fortress now. He's going to check these 4 chests here on the left side, not going to find anything. Does he continue on? Does he check more chests? Does he want more ribbons? I gotta think that he's satisfied at this point in time.
Well, you know, my only concern right now is going to be the ribbon. Maybe not so much the ribbon, but what we might see in the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
That's right. Spells on the Fiends that are going to pop up. Zap. Skills. Crack. Ribbon will protect you. 1 ribbon each. With Wall being at level 6, those spellcasts are going to be at a premium.
They absolutely are.
Edgeworth just fought some weird-looking guy in blue. I didn't... he's gone anyway.
Well, more slimes in there slow.
Tristal now traversing.
It looks like Edgeworth is... Yeah, well, Edgeworth is just heading down into the Earth Cave. It looks like he's going to go straight to Lich. Doesn't look like he's stopping to check for a ribbon, I don't think. No, it doesn't look like it.
Tristal gets a different encounter table on the Bridge of Destiny. Gonna help a little bit with time. Edgeworth spent a lot of time on the Bridge of Destiny. Tristal's nearing the Chamber of Tiamat now. Meanwhile, Edgeworth is a complete freight train, just bustling through the Earth Cave now.
He's just heading straight for that upper left-hand corner exit, and I think he's going to go up and around and straight to Lich, and I think I'm going to call it. Edge is going to put him down quick and easy.
3 light warriors now for Tristal. He starts to attack with the Mazmoon. 7 hits for 316. Tristal fires a fade for $174. How about a nuke from TristalMTG directly into Tiamat? Not enough. Take another one, says Tristal, for 126. How about another Mazmoon shot? 7 hits. Down goes Tiamat. Steps away now. TristalMTG, level 22
Good.
for Tristal. Got a couple levels on Edge. He lights his 3rd orb.
And Edge lights his 4th orb now, so... I mean, does Edge go straight to Topher? Does he go look for a ribbon? What do you think? What do you think? Will, do you think he wants to just go and win?
Well, heal potions. He's checking Wall. Is he checking Wall? He's checking life charges there. Life charges and Wall. He's gonna get heal potions. He's gonna get spells for the Knight. The Knight can learn Select Magic, levels 1 through 3 of White Magic. That's called Cure 4 in that first slot. He's gonna do that. Gonna check the other ones as well. I've studied Edgeworth, Mr. Versity. I've watched Edgeworth hours and hours and hours. He's going directly to Temple of Fiends.
I gotta agree with you. I've watched quite a few of his races, and I think in this position I've seen him exactly like you said, go straight for Topher. I think he's done playing. I think he wants to win that first match and move on to the second match, and you know, just take it from there, really.
Tristal, after lighting his 3rd orb, has decided to do the fetch. He is hoping for the tail. He probably wants it pretty bad. He's picked up his crystal. He's headed up to Matoya now. He's going to get his tail. Meanwhile, 1 hour, 16-minute mark. Edgeworth has entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited, armed with Excalibur, a ribbon, and a power gauntlet.
Yep. Only one ribbon, though. I mean, do you think he's worried, Edge? What do you think's going... I'm sorry, I mean, Will. Will, do you think Edge is worried right now? What do you think's going through his head?
Worried, no. I don't think Edge is ever really worried. Is he concerned? He's got the ribbon on, I would think, the White Wizard. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say he feels pretty good, given the Excalibur. What is his level? 21? 20? I don't think so, Mr. Bassetti. I would be. I know that Edgeworth has a official, unofficial one ribbon rule. That meets his criteria.
Absolutely does. So, as we just saw the Phantom. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Will. The Phantom is undead, correct?
That is correct. And why would you say that, Mr. Bassetti?
And the eye is not.
Correct.
Even though they're same sprite, same everything. I think that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's something that's actually really not well known. The Phantom is undead, susceptible to the Sun Sword, susceptible to harm spells. The eye, however, I like to call the eye and Phantom sisters, is not, pointed out by Mr. Bassetti.
Which I think that's kind of interesting because, you know, one's undead and one's not. I guess the real way to tell is you cast harm. Because if it's ineffective, you know that they're not undead.
Our tracker, Rumblefish82, doing such a great job tonight. Wondering if maybe the Phantom is a zombified eye.
Yeah, you know, it's very possible. They are from the same bloodline, so... We've got Edgeworth over here on Lich, the first refight here. I haven't seen... Oh, we got a fast on Lich, but other than that, I haven't seen anything.
Harm 4 and an Excalibur shot from Edgeworth takes out Lich.
There he goes. Get out of here, Lich. Edgeworth is done playing games. Also looks like we've got Tristal. Looks like he's actually doing the same that Edgeworth did. He's going to gas it through the Earth Cave here.
Foot on the pedal for Tristal. He's entered the Vampire floor. Gets ambushed by Eye Mages. Going to slow him down a little bit. Edgeworth with a nice run through the Fire floor here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to take on Carry 2. We know that Fast is out of the pool.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Cure 4. You know, nuclear, what is it, Typhoon? Or is it Tornado?
Tornado.
Swirl, yeah. Ooh, Ice 2.
Couple of nuclears. Crack. Zap.
Ooh.
Done.
364 on that nuke, that was great. Followed up by a crappy Fade roll. Ooh, oh, no Quad X strats right now.
Slow 2. Very underrated. Fire 3 from Carry 2 now. Eradicates the both Black Wizards of Edgeworth. Edgeworth is going to start to attack now. 4 hits. Edgeworth might be on the ropes a little bit here. Here comes the Excalibur. 4 hits for 248. Edgeworth says, I got this.
Ooh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So, Carry 2 down. Got a little scary there for a minute, Will. I gotta be honest.
A little bit. We've seen Fire 3, we've seen Ice 2, we've seen a Fast. We just talked about a bunch of the spells out there. You gotta look out for that Slow 2. Slow 2 is non-elemental. It's hit a couple players already in 2018 tournament, and it's cost them matches. It can hit you through a ribbon. Runnable seafood platter for Edgeworth. Now, runnable waters now. Edgeworth starting to pick up the pace a little bit here. He's got 3 warriors standing. Tristal being slowed down again. Ambushed again.
Ooh, Giants with Cremate. Uh-oh.
Edgeworth hesitates for just a split second, wants to take the fight so badly. Knows the competition he's up against, runs from the experienced Pinata. Runs into Waters, who immediately ambush him. Continues to leave the Light Warrior on the ground, saving time on healing, but he's going to get rocked, Mr. Rossetti.
Was that Poison Touch?
I believe it was. More time being wasted for Edgeworth
a little on the rope. I think he's gonna pull himself out here.
Edgeworth heals up. Life 2 gonna resurrect the 4th Light Warrior for the fight with Kraken. Leaves the Knight in the front slot now. Okay, he's gonna attack. Fade, nuke in the Excalibur. Interesting strategy. 3 hits for 330. Here comes a fade. 104 and a nuke from Edgeworth into Kraken now for $177. Another nuke. 154. Kraken not having it. Fires back with Blizzard.
Ouch. Oh, you know what? That damage roll on that Blizzard wasn't too bad.
Not too bad at all. Kraken. Oh, Kraken with a melee attack knocks the.
Oh my God! Kraken Honda strikes again. I told you, Kraken Honda.
Kraken E Honda knocks the Knight down to 1 knee, 35 HP left, but Quad-X erased and terminated. Down goes Kraken 2. Edgeworth is on. He's on the Echo of the Floating Castle. Tiamat 2 is on deck now for Edgeworth.
Is Tiamat a gatekeeper? Let's see. Oh, we got a fast on the Knight. Good. And I think we're just gonna keep going with the little bit of wall and then nuke and fade.
Wall is out on the Knight now, protecting from that zap, that crack, should that come out from Tiamat 2. Edgeworth continues to attack Tiamat now with 8 hits after the fast.
Yeah, 8 for 274. That's
wow.
8 for 312. Oh wow. Wow. Tiamat had hardly any hit points at all.
Tristal has his 4th Orblet. He's picked up Cure 4. He's headed to the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Meanwhile, the focus is on Edgeworth. He wants to go 1-0 in this best of 3. Left side of your screen. Edgeworth prepares for the initiation, for the Dance of Eternity. It is the fight with the Ultimate Fiend Chaos. Can Edgeworth do it? He's got 4 warriors. He's got everything he could want. Here we go.
What does Chaos have? That's going to play a role. What did he roll for Evade? What did he roll for Magic Evade? What did he roll? That's what we're going to find out.
Edgeworth gets off the all-important fast and a wall. He's got to like this. He's starting to temper his Knight now. The Knight attacks already. 7 hits for 200 damage. Lightning 3 is the first spell from Chaos. We have not seen Cure 4, Swirl, Tornado. We have not seen Nuke, Slow 2, anything like that. Does Chaos have this? Will we even see it? Can Edgeworth take down Chaos?
My thoughts exactly.
Cure 4, another temper for Edgeworth. Edgeworth playing this very well. 7 hits from the Excalibur. More tempers coming out now. Edgeworth attacking more. More tempers. A fade. Nuclear out of Chaos.
There it is.
Down goes 2 warriors.
Ooh,
Edgeworth hits for 600. Still not. Chaos is still standing, Mr. Rossetti.
While Edgeworth is going through all this, Tristal, about 120, about the hour and 24-minute mark, has entered the Temple of Fiends as well.
Cure 4. The Cure 4 that Edgeworth bought in Elfland heals himself up, but it doesn't matter. Edgeworth takes it.
892. Edgeworth is now 1-0. Wow.
Check it out, your GGs. Congratulate this man. An official SRL time.
Let's get him in here.
1 hour, 25 minutes, 15 seconds. Edgeworth is your winner. He's going to move to 1-0 now here in the best of 3 against the defending champion, TristalMTG. Smooth race from Edgeworth. We are in contact with Edgeworth. He'll be stepping in here in just a moment.
Wow. You know, and right now, Will, while Tristal's headed down, I am reminded, do you think that Edge's run at the beginning made any difference?
I don't know. Let's ask him right now. Is that an Edgeworth I hear?
I think so.
Edge, it's Will. GG's and congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Mr. Bracetti's joining me here. Mr. Bracetti has a question for you about the beginning of the game.
Yeah, Edge, how did you feel? Well, actually, I guess it's more of a comment. When you made that run, when you had gotten your floater and your canoe, and you were making that run to Elfland, you were able to get there nice and quick. Now, Tristal, on the other hand, he had a bit of trouble getting through there. What did you think about that when you were able to make that quick run down there?
So that's kind of what I planned out with like the number of cabins that I bought. I figured, all right, that should get close enough where I think I should be able to make it all the way to the to get the floater just by power cycling, because it wasn't a great run at the front of the table, but it was just enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one thing that Will mentioned too. He thinks that within about the first 10 minutes, you had kind of figured out that there were a few more battles at the beginning. So what you did is we saw you do this quite a few times when you burned off. It was 5 battles every time, I believe. How did you figure that out right away?
Yeah, and I screwed up going into I believe Sky, but going into Mirage Tower, but it paid off in the sense that the Cerberus fights were pretty easy for me to take down, and they were a good experience. But yeah, I did that as soon as I saw, like, man, I'm getting, like, a ton of fights. I think it was before I even crossed the bridge. I'm like, alright, if I do Power Cycle, I'm gonna have to run all of these off, so goodbye run at the front of the table, but I would rather not see these 5 encounters in Topher.
Mm-hmm. I think that really worked out to your advantage as far as being able to do that. Go ahead, Will. You take it away.
Edgeworth, once again, GG's. The trip to Ordeals, a bust. We went ahead and timed it because we had known at that time that the trip to Ordeals was a bust. Did you at all, and do you ever, in this flag set, consider trying to skip Waterfall, Ice, or Ordeals?
No, and the thing is, it fits nicely into the experience curve, too, because there's, if you have Warp, you can get through that dungeon pretty quickly, and the Medusas aren't bad experience, the big Zombo packs aren't bad, Zombie Dragons are good, the Sorcerers are great, like, for that time period in the game, so even though Ordeals was a bust, it wasn't really, because I got a couple levels out of it, and it didn't take me very long. And yeah, I checked a bunch of chests.
Okay, yeah, and the slab could have obviously easily been in Ordeals and not on the way to Kraken, as it was that you found. Edge, I want to go back to last year. Your best 2 out of 3 with Crystal. You won 1 there. How did that transpire last time? Because I wasn't around at that time. Did you win the first one, or did you lose the first one?
I won the first one, and that transpired because Tristal took a wipe in Topher, and I didn't. We actually were forced fighter. I think it was 3 party members forced, so even though it was a 300% seed, we kind of had to use the fighter, and we ended up only finding the Vorpal, I believe, throughout our entire run. So I leveled up to 29, and he went through, made it all the way to Chaos and died. So that was kind of the difference there. And then the other 2, he just outplayed me.
Mm. In this tournament, it seems like eons ago versus with the speed changes, the NPC shuffles. Do you think you're better suited right now in this tournament, or were you more comfortable back then in that type of scenario?
I thought I was more comfortable until I lost 2 to Tristal, but no, to be perfectly honest, the old Black Belt meta I felt pretty comfortable doing, but the thing with Tristal is just his execution is so good, and once you get the Black Belt online, it's just a purely execution game from that point. So I think even though I was more comfortable, Tristal had a definite advantage in that meta.
Mm.
I really don't know how comfortable he is with Fighter, but I mean, there's no question he can play this meta too.
Mm-hmm. You went in, checked the first floor Mirage Tower, reset, went and checked the other half of Mirage Tower, didn't find much of anything. Was that a conscious decision that you were going to do that and then move on and press the gas, or did you consider checking greater than less than?
So I wanted to do a dip into the first floor Mirage to kind of hedge my bets against there being a progression item in there, because I figured once I went over to Sea Shrinery I was going to full clear it, so I was in the neighborhood, I figured I'd check it out. Still hadn't found tail or the rod yet, so it seemed like a pretty good bet.
I hate to interrupt here. Will, it looks like Tristal might be done. It looks like he had a wipe at Kraken 2 with Nuke.
That's correct. Tristal continued on, trying to finish this one out, runs into Kraken 2. Kraken 2 was hiding the nuke, and it's taking out Tristal. Tristal's going to go ahead and he's going to go ahead and throw in the towel here. Match 1. Remember, this is best 2 out of 3. This is not over yet. The winner here, we are in the Elite 8 right now, will move on to the Final 4. Both players made it to the Final 4 last year. They're going to have to go through each other this time if they want to make it back to the Final 4.
Absolutely right. Edgeworth, again, GG. Good race. Can't wait to see the next one.
We're in contact with Tristal right now. We'll see if he wants to stop in for a word or two. We've still got a few more minutes. We'd like to remind you one more time, just a few minutes from now, tonight, Falconic FF and Minochi 85 bring you Game 2, Buzzy Mage versus Arson Horse, right here. Same channel, same tournament. Arson Horse up 1-0, looking to move on and be the first player to qualify for the Final 4 that's coming up in just a few minutes right here on Speed Gaming. Meanwhile, TristalMTG has joined us in the chat. Tristal, how are you feeling about the seed tonight?
Honestly, it was okay. I had a little bit of trouble at the beginning, so I imagine I was a few minutes behind pretty much the whole way. The death in Temple of Fiends kind of butterfly affected the entire rest of the run because I didn't have a lot of gold or levels or whatever. So it pretty much just ballooned throughout the run, but I imagine I was kind of close most of the way, despite in the end being around 10 minutes out.
That's how good Tristal is. He's Mr. Vicetti, I would agree, he's dead on accurate.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The one thing I did want to mention, though, Tristal, is we did notice that, boy, man, trying to get to Elfland, that was just nothing but trouble for you. It seems like you had every battle you were getting into, it was just, were you worried at that point, or were you concerned that may escalate?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of just said, that's pretty much what I expected. Just having so much trouble at the beginning, not really having gold to buy enough camping equipment really just ruined me for the rest of it. So yeah, those few minutes at the beginning just did not help out.
But you guys were still pretty close to neck. I mean, you guys were making the same moves. You know, a lot of time it was just minutes apart.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised at that. Edge knows what he's doing.
Two
both
great
of you
players.
guys are phenomenal runners.
Oh, gosh, yes. We're fighting over to say how good you guys are. And I think it's been well documented how much I have studied personally, both of you, in your games. Tristal, I did want to ask you really the same question I asked Edge. Going back to last year, the best 2 out of 3, you guys went at it in almost kind of the title match. I guess you could say a semi-final match in a best 2 out of 3. The flag set then versus the flag set now. The percentages, the speed up animations. Were you more comfortable then? Were you more comfortable now?
I was probably a bit more practiced back then, just because the flag sets are changing so much now. And there was a bit more security in the black belt strategy in the earlier tournaments, whereas that's not really a thing in this tournament, unless it's weirdly forced upon you, not in this case. So yeah, probably a little more comfortable in the previous tournament, but I'm still practicing. I'm still, you know, I'm feeling all right about this. Just, you know, can't win them all, I guess.
Oh, yes. I spied in on you when you were playing. Just, I think it was yesterday. I had to watch a little bit, certainly. Tristal, you did end up checking the greater than less than room. Your opponent tonight, Edgeworth, did not. That was pretty much the gear difference. You both had 1 ribbon. You both had a katana, obviously the Excalibur, but you did pick up the Mazmoon in greater than less than. Did that prompt you to go ahead and put the foot on the gas, or was that a planned play and you were going to hit the gas anyway?
Yeah, that's what did it. I was probably going to clear most of Sky had I not found Mazmoon or Tail. I had Excalibur, so you know, it was 50-50 on whether or not Lefane led to it. I still had the ship outstanding. So I didn't really want to just take the chance on Lefane not having it. If I'm going to go open,
Right.
you know, 17 chests in Mirage anyway, maybe I just find the tail there because there was still one outstanding chest item. Yeah, once I got the Mazmune, I no longer had issues with offense, so I was just go mode from there.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of intrigue going on once we had figured out that the translation of the slab would lead to the crystal and would lead to either the ship or the tail, and how much that would matter to each of you. Certainly, I would think that was it required for you, Tristal, given almost the Aegis Shield and the Dragon Armor, to at least do that fetch quest?
Yeah, with only one ribbon, I wanted the knight to basically have half of a ribbon on. He's really only missing time at that point with Dragon and Aegis. So yeah, if I can't find a second ribbon, then I'm gonna promote. And if I did find a second ribbon, I probably wouldn't have bothered.
Right, especially with Wall. I think Wall was at level 6, so you certainly had access to it, but more limited access with the charges. You really got to pick your spots pretty well there. Trista, your run ended with the nuke, it looks like, from Kraken. Edgeworth did not see that. He was able to take out Kraken before the Fiend refight was able to get certainly that deep.
Yeah, that's almost a given. With no Mazmune, I imagine his TOFR had to be very easy.
Yeah.
You know, in general, no nuke and chaos was easy and all that.
Yeah, pretty straightforward from Edgeworth. Edgeworth tonight moves to 1-0 in the best of 3. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Speed Gaming and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. It's going to be Tuesday, July 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be right here on the Speed Gaming family of networks. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be joined by Ikbin Maya for the call for Game 2 of Edgeworth versus TristalMTG. Meanwhile, coming up in just a few minutes, I can see the runners getting ready right now. Fuzzy Mage versus Arson Horse. I see Falconic FF and Minochi85 going over a battle plan in the booth. It's going to be great. I'm certainly going to watch it as well. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here real quick. Edgeworth, our winner tonight. Congratulations and GG's again. Any final thoughts on tonight's match?
I hope this goes as well tomorrow. There's nothing is a given against Tristal. I mean, I was up 1-0 in the last tournament and then just got dunked 2 straight. So
yeah, you know, great game, guys. That was wonderful. You know, again, I paid for the whole seat, but only use the edge. I love it. Can't beat it. Watching 2 guys of your caliber racing. I'd be honest, I'd be lying if I said I didn't learn something from every time I watch you guys race.
I definitely learned it too. Tristal, any final thoughts? Any thoughts going into tomorrow? Anything at all?
Yeah, like Edge said, I hope I get that lucky. So we'll see. I'm hoping to make us race on Wednesday as well.
I'll be there for that Wednesday one as well. But remember, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it's going to be right here on the Speed Gaming family of networks. Game 2 between these 2 top-tier players trying to get out and take this dreaded Red Dragon bracket. That when you saw this bracket, you knew that if you could survive this Red Dragon bracket, you had a real good shot at getting to the finals. We've gotten through. It's Edgeworth and TristalMTG who will move on to the Final 4. We will find out either tomorrow night or potentially for the rubber match Wednesday. That will also be right here on Speed Gaming. For my broadcast partner tonight, Mr. Vassetti, making it happen, finally get in the booth with me. Absolute pleasure, sir. Rumblefish, taking care of the tracking tonight. Thank you very much. Cyclone GU, taking care of all the restreaming action. Speed Gaming, thank you for hosting us. Absolute pleasure to bring us into your family here, and certainly Speed Gaming fans and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, bringing us into your home tonight. Thank you, but don't switch that dial. Arson Horse and Fuzzy Mage coming up in just a few minutes. My name is Will Cleosis. Thank you for joining us, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening.